Everyone has ideas of what the problems are in our society and how to fix them. We took it one step further. Our premise is simple: bring together people from different backgrounds to discuss ideas that affect us. If at the end of the show you feel informed, educated, or alarmed, we have done our job. We are the Social Disruption Network. My name is Gil Guillory, and on our panel tonight we have Sean from North Carolina, Spencer from some part in Louisiana, and we have David from Shreveport, Louisiana, actually from North Carolina, but he lives in Shreveport, Louisiana. Starting our show off tonight, we have Sean out of North Carolina. Sean, what would you like to talk about tonight, my friend?
So I think what's becoming clear is that we're facing a sort of emergency economically, by which automation is starting to take over jobs. We're already seeing, there are parts of Europe right now where there are basically like no cashiers in grocery stores, right? We're seeing some of that here in the United States. They're talking about having automatic or self-driven trucks. It's not hard to imagine someday there will be self-driven planes, things like that. So in some parts of Europe, what they're talking about doing is something called a basic income guarantee, where people would get a living wage no matter what they do, and then they could go and they could go to school or they could do some kind of work, whatever it is that it might be. So my question to you guys is, if automation is something that's going to start putting people out of work by the thousands, if not millions, what do you see as the solution, and how do you see that being implemented?
Wow. Anyone want to go first?
Sounds like it's you.
I'll take it first. Okay, one of the scariest parts of our advancement as a human culture is our ability to adapt, overcome, our ability to reason, to create, to invent. It's only a matter of time until we are automated to the point where, like you're saying, people will lose jobs. It's happening already. Everything from self-driving cars, they'll take those and they will have all of the fleets in the world will be automated semi trucks. All of the taxi cabs will be automated. Plants and factories are now automated. How do we get to the point where we can eliminate, or not necessarily eliminate, but keep people fed and employed? That's a tough question, because I don't see any way around mass unemployment. One of the only areas that has grown in employment has been the government, healthcare, and education. So if you're not in any one of those three areas, you're going to suffer. Everything from, I remember growing up, sugarcane farms. I don't know if y'all have any in North Carolina, but likely not. You used to plant sugarcane by hand. You'd walk behind a tractor and you pull it off the wagon and you plant it in the ground. Now it's all automated. One guy drives a tractor. It does the work of 20 men with a 40-hour work week. It does it in a day. So how do we fix that without going into education, healthcare, or the government? That's a hard one. I really don't know. I can't really see any way around where we're going except to limit creativity and stop innovation and inventions. So I don't know.
That's gonna be tough. I think I'm gonna chime in. By the way, I'm Spencer from Bunkie, Louisiana. Uh, uh, but I think, are you going to be able to stop it? No. I think it's going to be limited to your geographical location. Like, okay, for example, we're here in Louisiana. There's a lot of rural area, a lot of farming. I think in your major metropolitan areas, you'll see it. Like, one of the biggest things with the $15 minimum wage with all these fast food restaurants is the company's combating that. Okay, well, we can just replace the cashiers with automated systems. So I can see that being a big deal in larger cities, but country areas, maybe not so much. Eventually, I think it's going to be way further down the road than we're going to be around to experience. So I don't see it being a huge issue right now.
That makes sense. I figured Dave would give an answer, but he's disappeared for the moment.
R.I.P. Dave.
If you'd like, what I can do is give my response to the question.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I actually think that healthcare, education. Dave's back. Actually, let's let David handle this first, and I'll give my thing last since I asked the question.
Hey, David, are you here?
I think I'm here.
Hey, did you hear the question?
Yes, I heard the question.
All right, it's your turn, my brother.
Okay. Part of the problem that you've got is the job situations are changing. And the part of the problem that you've got, and I've got 5 kids, and trying to figure out what they're going to do when they grow up is a little bit hard to do because a lot of the jobs are gone and they're not coming back. I mean, no matter who we elect as president, no matter what the unions think, it's just not going to come back. So what you're going to do to keep these people employed, it's going to be really hard to do going forward. It's like, for example, I've got over a decade of call center experience. Well, you can pay somebody over in the Philippines a third of what you paid me to do that. Really hard to sit there and hire somebody from America to do that kind of work. As far as what the government can do, I mean, unless you're going to start throwing out tariffs, unless you're going to start throwing out ways to tax corporations, you're just not going to solve that problem. And unfortunately, hoping the private sector fixes it's not going to work. It's kind of like LeBron James doing this equality ad for Nike, whereas Nike doesn't hire anybody to make their shoes here. They spend about $3 per shoe getting it here from overseas where they're selling it for $160, which means if you go out and you buy a pair of Nike shoes, you're sending $157 that's not being made here to Nike. There's no way you're going to get those jobs back to the United States. So how to fix it, I really got no idea.
Sean?
Okay, so I think that the point about healthcare, education, and the government, that makes some sense to me. I think actually something happened when we did away with the draft is we became very disconnected from America's role in the rest of the world. Before, when you had the draft, you knew someone, or there was someone who was like related to someone on your street who was like at the war, or had just come back, whatever the case may be. What I actually think is, I think basic income is going somewhere. So to explain basic income, I did already a little bit. So the basic income guarantee just says, like, let's say we agree.
Denmark just did it, or one of those Slavic countries just did it. Was it Denmark or the Netherlands, or who was it? It was one of those Nordic countries that did.
Right. So there's a program in place. I think Finland and I think Ireland are all testing programs right now.
Ugh.
But the idea is that eventually we get to a point where everybody makes like $30,000 or $40,000 a year, something like that, just with no qualifications, no requirements. But I do think that we're going to want to increase education, we're going to want to increase healthcare, and I think that there's the potential that is reopen and have the military start doing non-military functions, which is something that the military has always done. They've always done some like infrastructure work and different development things like that. And that's one way that it could go. But it would basically be basic income, expanding those industries, and getting people to a much higher education level so that they can contribute to technology and innovation and design and some of those kinds of things.
Okay, but what does that do with when you take the military and you put them doing those basic jobs? We already, because of automation, we're gonna have a employment issue, an unemployment issue because of automation. But you start putting the military in non-military positions, we have a larger unemployment issue. So you know what I'm saying? Like it compounds and compounds and compounds.
No. Okay, so what I'm saying is that what's going to happen is eventually industries are going to come apart. They're going to break down. They're going to lose their profitability, and business owners are going to have to contract from certain industries. And so that's going to require new mechanisms for fulfilling certain kinds of roles. So even things like maybe if you worked in what would be the military, but it will no longer look like the military as we know it completely.
Luis,
But
I'm sorry, Sean. Luis is here now. Hey, Luis.
How
no
you
problem.
doing? I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes. Well, Sean's got it. I'm sorry, Sean. You have the floor, my friend. I just wanted to
No, it's no
acknowledge
problem.
Luis while we're here.
So for example, the military might go around and pick up trash and contribute to like recycling. They might paint things on the sides of walls. They might help to build buildings. They might help to do all kinds of things that you've never imagined the military doing before.
Why
Depending,
don't welfare recipients do those jobs instead?
that's basically it. Basically, what's the difference between someone who's in the military and somebody
The
who's
military has a job.
A
Why
lot.
not use welfare recipients to do that?
well? What I'm saying is,
Because
that wouldn't be any different. That wouldn't really be any different.
it would be a lot different because the military is getting paid a salary, welfare for doing something, protecting America. The welfare recipients who are unemployed because of automation, we have a further unemployment problem. So they're getting something for nothing. Why not have them do those jobs so the military can be free to do what we need them to do? Disaster
Or
relief,
let the
disaster
let the
relief.
welfare recipients earn their benefits
Let
rather
the
than
welfare
making the
recipients clean
military
up their own
do stuff. And
neighborhood.
you also have other. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump over Gil.
You're not. This is
I
what
had
this.
to. I had to chime in. I had to.
This
I
is
don't
what this
see
last segment
the
is for.
military do anything. I don't see the military doing anything like that. You also have to think some other programs you're missing out on. Jobs that I would think would never go into automation: law enforcement, fire departments, education. That's not going to go into automate. You'll have automated tools to help, but it's not going to go. But I'm like Gil. Why not take the welfare recipients and make them, in a sense, earn the benefits that they're doing? Make them go do these other jobs that nobody else can do. Why not make them earn it?
So I want to clarify a couple points.
Okay.
First off, in the United States, we no longer really have welfare. I mean, to what degree we do, like I've never met a person in the past like 20 years of my life who actually gets a welfare check.
That's because
like you
you're
used to
privileged, man. That's because
You-
you're
yeah.
privileged.
You have not seen the communities that
That's because you're
I do law
privileged.
enforcement in.
You
So
have
you
never
guys,
seen a
you guys
welfare
know,
recipient?
so you guys know people who just
Yes.
I see them
I
every
think-
day.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
see them
Yes.
every day. I see
We
them
don't
They're
every
all
do
day.
that anymore. That's not a
Maybe
thing.
it's a geographical thing. Maybe it's not as big of an
Bill
issue.
Clinton,
there in
Bill
the
Clinton did
Carolinas.
away with that.
No, you got to be crazy. Where's all my money going from my paycheck?
It's going to a lot of places.
It's going to a lot
Okay.
of welfare
Okay,
recipients.
hold on. Okay, let me just explain what happened here. Because what happened was prior to 1992.
We got
what
1 minute
happened-
left. 1 minute left. Get it in.
Okay, so prior to that,
That's what he said.
what would happen is some people wouldn't
five,
do
Luis.
any work and they would just get a check. This isn't unemployment. I'm not talking about unemployment. I'm not talking about food stamps. Welfare was something else. Anyway, to y'all's point, I don't disagree. I mean, in fact, I think we're talking about exactly the same thing. Basically, the military would kind of reconceive of itself to just perform different functions. People would work, they would get a check, but some people would be drafted, some people would volunteer. There would be several options. But the minute's over, I guess. So, sorry, guys.
We have 1 minute.
With,
We have 1
with
minute left
society
in
the
that
way it
segment.
is now,
Hey,
you'll never see the draft again.
Let me be
It's
devil's
a-
advocate. Louise, do you think the military should be painting fences and houses and cutting grass, or should it be welfare recipients?
For a lack of a better word, fuck no.
There's an edit right there. That's more work for
No,
Gil now.
No,
this
but
is perfect.
I
That's perfect for YouTube.
no. I'll take. Let me give you 20 seconds on the automation part. It will take 1 or 2 lifetimes before the automation will take over and reduce the. Right now, as we speak, a lot of people have a very bad misconception. That's right, a misconception about the automation of McDonald's. When
So,
you
Luis,
go in,
as long as you're making predictions, could you please tell me the lottery numbers tonight?